This is still Signature Evening, and we have a second guest in the studio who is Mbachu Felix to talk to us about web, who is a web designer, to actually talk to us about the impact of social media on mental health and well-being. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Mbachu Felix.
It's nice to have you.
I'm delighted to be here and to give a little input on
All right.
the topic that we.
So let's dive right into the conversation for tonight. We know that social media plays a vital role in our day-to-day activities. People make money off social media. People do so many things on social media. You meet friends that you've never met before. We have internet friends that we've never met before. And your life could just be revolving around social media. You don't know what you're really doing wrong or doing right. So what exactly are some of those impacts that you'd say social media has in our life here as we use it as
Well, I would say just like everything in life generally, there are pros and cons for it. But often you would argue that the cons of social media outweigh the pros, but you can still relatively think about it in the sense of, okay, for example, let's start with the pros. Let's just start with the positives. The first is that with social media, you can gather a network. You can build a network of people that you would normally not be able to build if you are only going to be interacting with them in person. You get it. Also helps with individuals who have, let's say, social problems like anxiety, talking to people, interacting with people in person. Social media removes that difficulty, let me call it that, and helps you to network through. You can also get, talking about like the general mental health thing, you can also get platforms where you can interact with people that can help you get through the phases through your mental health and be better as a person and all of that. And business wise, we cannot undermine how important it is. Me myself, I can't remember having a job that I had to go and report to, and I have been working for at least close to 6 years now, and everything is remote. And that wouldn't have been possible without the internet and all, and so much more you can learn on the internet and so much all of that. But when it comes to the cons, as human beings generally, we have our difficulties and faults and imperfections. For example, we constantly compare ourselves to people. We constantly compare ourselves to people, and it's not a thing of you are supposed to outgrow it or you're supposed to not compare yourself. I mean, it's destructive knowing what you're not supposed to do and then you're doing it. But then it's easier said than done. So there are measures you have to take to stop it, because there's this effect with human nature where we cannot okay, let me use another something that is related but unrelated, but to like bring it together. This whole quote about money doesn't bring happiness. So it got to a point I actually said that there's no quote that would make it through the test of time and it will just be bullshit. Sorry, but so when I did it, took me towards a phenomenon or a theory which they call like the hedonic treadmill. So as the words would imply, like hedonic is like a feeling of satisfaction or pleasure, happiness, and then a treadmill is like a sport equipment where you are you run on it. So on a treadmill, when you keep running but your position is maintained at the same place. So now the whole phenomenon is just saying that something like when you attain a new level of happiness, a new high, you tend to get used to how great your life is, and then it now becomes a base level of happiness for you and no longer a high. So that is why if you keep chasing those happiness, that's why you say, if you make more money,
you keep attaining
exactly, and then it keeps going on. And then social media doesn't make that easy at all, because you're constantly comparing yourself to someone who is putting their best highlight reels on Instagram and wherever, and then you're just trying to tell yourself that
gaslighting yourself into believing you're
not doing better than this person. This person is probably doing good, and the person is not putting up their own flaws and probably going through their own thing and comparing themselves to you too. So that can have like a very huge impact on people, make them to
okay, coming on social media, we realize that people do a whole lot of things for attention, for the likes, for the comments, for the views. And just as you said, there are people that look up to you, to understand if they're on the right path or not. And if you're not careful, you could actually be leading someone out of the way. And so, with all these things on social media, will it really, and does it really mean that you should always go there to seek validation and also, for your self worth and identity?
Mm, I think there's another part of it I actually didn't touch on the cons, because which is misinformation. It's very, very extremely easy to spread misinformation on social media. So in terms of going there to look for the validation and everything, I think you can take measures of, there are specific people that, if you're being honest with yourself, they have more realistic um timelines of growth in whatever they are doing, because you can be looking up to somebody. Let's say you're a web designer, and then you're like seeing this particular influencer or web design influencer, and they're doing like really good, and then you see one that has this very unrealistic stoop of, if you just do this, this is going to happen, and then you're just seeing the other guy that is growing really slowly and articulates the way they talk properly and all of that. So you would obviously want to convince yourself to go with the other one, because he's showing you the more flashy things. I just got this, I just got that, I got this opportunity, it fell into my lap, all of that. But I think the best bet is just going for someone who you feel, and then always take any advice you're going to get by, how do they say this, by one hand. Don't take the whole thing in, because everyone has the way they process things and they think about things. So
yeah, still looking at the impact of social media on mental health and well-being. You earlier mentioned about the connectivity, bridging the gap for people that don't know how to talk. They are very shy.
Yes.
During the day and online, they are very expressive and all of that. This is really exciting. It's a good one. It gives room for people to express themselves. But let's also look at the disadvantaged part of it, where it's taking away the human interaction. Just like I said, the previous time we had one of the shows, we talked about social media, where you can be in a family and you don't talk to each other. Everybody's on their phones. Same thing can also happen with colleagues, with friends, and even lovers. You can be in your homes and then you just be on your phones.
Yeah.
Apart from when you're eating or maybe you want to watch a movie together.
Yeah. It's
snatching away the time you would have had with your loved ones. So how bad could this be? And how can it be managed?
I think very important. It's actually something that has been a big problem over time with social media, because now it's getting to a point where the devices you have to use to connect yourself to social media are expanding from a mobile device that is on your hand to a headphone that you can put on your ear, an Oculus VR headset that you can place over your eyes, and you're literally not seeing any other thing going on around you. So I think this would kind of bring me back to the thing I was talking about, the whole happiness thing. Like, if you keep chasing those momentary pleasures of entertainment, of scrolling through social media, or you're taking in information and all of that and just enjoying social media, and forget about those human relationships, because they're the most important things. Family, friends, loved ones, relationships, these are the only things that can constantly keep you, let's say, happy enough, like spontaneously, because it gets to a point where that entertainment you're getting from that skip maker or that movie you're watching, it gets boring. It gets to the point where it's now repetitive. So I think you can curtail this by you can plan more intentional, like sometimes families plan family game nights, family movie nights, outings on specific occasions. So all these type of plans can be set to try and reduce the screen time, with get everyone busy and preoccupied, and try to take time off social media.
Just as you said initially, this conversation, how you keep comparing yourself and feeling like you're not doing enough. Let's look at the angle of depression, where we see so many things happen on social media. Someone drinks sniper, someone falls off the building because they tag what they feel as depression, and most times they're just sad, you're not even depressed. So would you really say social media is, or how responsible is social media for situations like this?
Oh, I think personally that at the end of the day we still have to take responsibility for these things, because why are you comparing yourself to this person? You don't even have the full context of the person's background. You're comparing yourself, okay, both of you started learning a particular skill at a time, and then 2 years later you're still trying to get your feet together, and the person is already 1 year into a full-time paying gig. this person's uncle can be a highly connected person, that all you had to do is just acquire the skill, we place you there. You don't know this. The person might not even tell you this. You're already comparing yourself. You get. So I feel like we should take responsibility as much as social media is very, because let's not lie, most of these platforms have some certain things that they do to keep us hooked. You get. There are some certain social cues, UX, and interaction, whatever that they used to keep us, But then you just have to also be self-aware enough to tell yourself that this intake of this thing or this comparison I'm making now, does it really make sense? You have to. I think it's down to self-reflection, because there's a part social media plays, but at the same time you're an adult. You have, you should own up to this type of things.
So we just talked about the, shall I say, the evil parts of social media, right? Now, can we look at it from this other angle? Even while you're still experiencing depression, can social media also be a tool, for support or resource to take you out of depression or mental health issues? Let's say you're angry or you're depressed. You can still run to social media to check some comedy skits. Like my favorite is Aloma or Laugh Any Day Anytime. You don't have to say anything. It calms your nerves, and before you know what's happening, you're out of the mood. Or maybe you're working and you feel like the pressure is much. You go to some motivational quotes. They'll just gear you up and give you that. Can we also have some sort of support on social media?
Yes, absolutely. Just like, we also mentioned in the beginning, everything has its pros and cons. So, one of the pros most important about social media is that, entertainment. You get. I'm someone who really likes watching movies and, getting into the world of like certain franchises and everything. So this type of things are still a form of interest for me. You get. So it's, yes, it's a, what they call it, is a double-edged sword basically. So there's either way, you just have to find a balance between it so that you can, manage everything together. Because like you said, when you're feeling down, you can easily just go to social media and you see one or a set of contents that just elates you, at least for the moment, and you feel very, relieved. At least you can be anything at any form of media at all. So I think, yes, it can actually have its own positive.
You mentioned double-edged sword. Can we use same thing for business with social media? Can social media actually be as dangerous and also sometimes as good? Because you know how you can be in Nigeria and you sell your business across the country.
Yes.
You know how people can get to know you just being on WhatsApp. Let's not even go more than WhatsApp. It can go a long way. But you mentioned social media being a double-edged. Can it also be bad to businesses?
Yes. Why I would say that is that sometimes the overexposure of like businesses to on these platforms can also bring them down to like being targeted by certain type of people, like cyber attacks. You get, because you can see people who work their ways through, or even work their ways through like growing their accounts or businesses to an extent, and then certain individuals try to cyber attack them through maybe different things. But like as this is like a middle ground, because that influence you're getting, that brand growth is helping you because you're getting more audience and everything, but at the same time you're inviting some kind of
wrong eyes.
Yes, the wrong eyes, to you too. So but then I think on the business side, you might have the let's say the sword's bad side is shorter than the long side, because but then as an individual, like for example me, I don't know, social media gets very exhausting for me personally. Sometimes I just want to like go off and everything. So but I have my business now is remote 100%, so I cannot even decide that I want to go off social media for a week. I cannot dare to do it. To get it's going to, yes, exactly. So it's not something that's going to. So I think that's the part where I would now bring back the double-edged sword like comparison in terms of personal life and then business, because I know that I need to be on here to push myself out, but at the same time I don't have the strength. My for example, my Twitter account now, I don't even tweet. All I do is just retweet. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't even comment on social media.
They'll drag you on
I
video. That's why I'm not on Twitter. I don't know what people are doing there.
Yeah, but Twitter is
just
it's just a lot. I don't have
lot.
strength.
It's
Even
really
Instagram, I just want to be there passively. I don't even comment on social media, because the truth is that I've weighed like interactions on social media, let's say comment sessions and everything, and to be honest, anybody, our advice, just don't talk on social media. There's no need of interacting with anybody on social media. People are not okay there. People are like, people spread
It's a community on its own.
if you can avoid it, avoid it.
Okay, so let's look at the pressure to maintain a perfect life, in quotes, on social media. Would you say that this is harmful in the sense that it could be draining, or it's helpful in the sense that it's keeping you on your toes to be better and do better for yourself as well? Just like I said, a double-edged sword.
Exactly. That was going to be my entry, actually. I was just going to tell that we are going back to that sword again, because the truth is that, like, just like this, I think it just relates back to what we just said, which is the pressure. Like, you're trying to keep up. Like, okay, let's look at influencers, for example, because they are the ones now that have to appear like they have their life all together, they have it all figured out. You know, they have to avoid controversies. They can't even say certain things. They can't, you know, appear certain places. They can't actually be human, because being human, you have to make mistakes. Okay, you can make mistakes, learn from them, but they don't have that liberty. So that's the bad side of it, because I think it really affects, you know, mental health of people that are in that position, because some of them cannot even handle that spotlight. You get celebrities that actually end up, you know, ending themselves because of unaliving themselves. Yeah, that is terminology. So because of that pressure and everything, so it's not really easy for them. But at the same time, like you said, it's a good way to, you know, help them to sit up. You get, because sometimes you might actually be slacking on your own accord, like you are actually the one not doing enough. You get, so that pressure of being, you know, someone that people look up to or something can help you, like, okay, you know, sit up a bit. You get it.
Let's still bring it back to the mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
We know how social media can snatch away sleep from someone. You know, even when you know that you want to sleep, but there's just that addictiveness in you that just wants to just still be online.
Just scroll one more.
Yeah,
just check one. Before you know, hours are going. It's affecting productivity at workplaces.
Yeah.
It's affecting purposes. People not being who they're supposed to be and achieve what they're supposed to achieve.
Yeah.
And then people are depressed. You know, when you snatch sleep away from yourself during the day, it comes for you, and you hate yourself that you didn't sleep last night.
Yes.
You know, so how can this be managed?
Okay. I think we some modern devices now have some measures that you can take to curtail all of these things. For example, on my phone, I have like a couple of focus modes that are available. There's the one for work. There's the normal DND. There's sleep. And then there's, I think, okay, those three are most important. So when it gets to a point, I can set reminders that will tell me that, okay, around so and so time, remind me that, you know, it's time to get to bed, it's time to go to bed, or something like that. And, you know, most times, sometimes what keeps us there, what hooks us are like all these small triggers. Like you said, you just went to go and look for one thing, now you saw one reel, you say, this person is funny, let me school again. That's how you be schooling, and then you keep. So to avoid all this, or you can just be that you are actually done for the day, like you want to just close your phone, and then a notification just pops up from Instagram, like let me go and check the message. If you're checking the message and then now just
lost. You can't go on Instagram and come back.
Yes, exactly.
So you even forget what you went for.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did was that my focus mode now has some certain people that are exempted from the focus mode, like my parents, you know, family, you know, close family, exactly. So, in case of emergencies. So now, most times, the communication between both of us on social media, like my family, is usually related to more serious things, like, okay, get this done, or have you seen this? You get. So I know that it's not going to be something that's going to distract me. So when those focus modes are on already by that time of the night, I already know any message that's entering now is supposed to be important. And if it's not important, we'll handle it tomorrow. You get. So I think focus modes can play a good role. And then self-awareness, you have to tell yourself, I need to do better, I need to go to bed, I have work tomorrow. You get, so it's very important.
Let's look at relationships.
Yeah.
You know, because you just mentioned this now, you mentioned family, you did not mention lover. There are some people that, you know, you just don't want to find yourself in that kind of love life that you have to be talking and chatting, especially distance ones, you know, that the person is not close by. Is the communication that will keep the relationship. That alone can cause some sort of pressure on its own. And the mental stress that will come from keeping up with someone that's not in the same location where you are, it's a pressure on its own. Do you think social media is really going to affect your well-being in that angle, because you need the likes of WhatsApp, sometimes Instagram, depending on the platform, the love of yours at the
yes.
time messages you, and you have to be online because the person is not close by. So how can this be managed, and how bad can this be for those in distance relationship from well-being angle and mental health?
I think this has to come from an understanding of like both parties. You get. So first of all, you have to me now. I will tell you that I don't the old. Nobody say I don't old finish, but I don't the old. So the way I stayed up a lot like growing up. It was a very bad habit of mine. So my body doesn't even allow me to do that anymore. If I do it, if I stay up consecutively for 3 days, I'm already feeling the effect on the 4th day. Like it's telling me go to bed. I'm sleeping by 9. Get. So that's how, you know. So basically, you have to communicate. Okay, I'm telling you that okay, if you're someone that stays up late, I cannot stay up late anymore. You get. And even if I am up late, it has to be that something productive is keeping me up late. So I will not need that distraction of, you know. So you can come to a middle ground of okay, let's talk on calls. Let's make it a call thing. You get. I can multitask now, you know. So let's talk through, you know, conversations on calls, and then, you know, and then just I think once the call comes in, I think it's very, you know, effective way of like, you know, finding the middle ground in it. So once the call comes in, you know that okay, any other text message that's coming in is maybe any other important thing that comes up after the call. So the call can go on from the length of okay, I'm about to go to bed, let's talk, and then you talk through to whenever you want to go to bed, and then like okay, good night, you know, except if there's any information to pass, like I said. So
all right. So can we look at the health implications of social media? I know you will run to social media and hospital where they come from. But the angle I'm coming from is the angle of you having eye issues, you know, and you're always online. You just can't help it. And you know that once in a while you need to, you know, just give some space so it doesn't affect you. You know, from the angle of health to the angle of productivity, and then the angle of relationship and other angles, can we now say that social media is doing more harm than good, or is doing more good than harm, or it's just like a two-edged sword? It's just in between.
I think we're bringing our sword back again. But talking about the health one, yeah, it's actually a very important one to raise because, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example. My posture is not wonderful. I know how many times I've adjusted myself here that we are now. I'll just my like, I'll sit up because I'm already trying to like productivity and then my eyes and everything. So any small thing I'm like trying to adjust myself. So the one with the eye, you know, there was this time it was just, you know, all these things, sometimes you don't listen to all these advices too. There's an experience that just blows you up. So I had this time where I was having like, I was really sick. So, and the sickness was mainly about like headaches and all.
Yeah, headache
I was having like very serious migraine. So I was using glasses that time, but it was all these glasses where you get from vendors. You get to tell you are selling blue cut glasses because the actual ones you get it from the hospital or an eye doctor. You get. So that time I remember like I was being told, this one you're using is not real, it's not correct, it's not correct. And then I was like, come on, that is not the same thing you get. So when that thing now happened, like I really had to go and, you know, check like what's up. So I went to an eye doctor and then he actually proved it, like he can actually get that one you got from the vendor, take his own. He uses like there's this blue light touch. If he flashes it through the vendor zone, it goes through. Flashes on his own, light absolutely stops there.
Wow.
Like
It
doesn't go through at all. So that changed. I was like, are you serious? Then I was like, yeah, we're willing to fix. So obviously getting his own was more expensive, but then I can assure you that after that, I'm not even joking, I'm not even overestimating. My life changed because I use it every single time. Even me not using it now is I forgot it when I was coming upstairs. I usually use it every single time. It helps me a lot. So my posture, my eyes, I've, you know, started getting, you know, all of these things are like, you know, the bad side you get of it and all. So I feel like, you know, we really have to pay attention. This is back to that whole self-awareness. You have to pay attention because if at least thank God I did not wait till my eyes totally spoiled before, you know, that happened. So I think we just have to, you know, at the end, the most important thing, both like you said, relationships, family, well-being, mental health, and everything. You just have to talk to yourself, You get, tell yourself that, okay,
Find the balance.
yes, find the balance.
Just as you mentioned, you went to the hospital because you noticed that some things could actually be wrong.
Yeah.
And we have situations where people are going through some mental issues, mental states. You're either depressed or whatever the case may be. Instead of going to seek the help you need from the hospital, you go on social media to help, forgetting that it's just a temporal feeling. You know, it's like an euphoria. It's just there for a short time, and then you're back to business again. So why don't we always go for the solution? We just have a preventive measure, you know, something that just lasts for a while. Then when you sleep and wake up, you're back to square one.
I think we often, this is the thing with our generation. We don't listen. Because me, I should have listened. Like I said, thank God I did not get to that. But imagine it had gotten to that. You get where my eyes are really like bad, and then I have to. It now becomes a problem for me because now I can't use it and I can't go without it anymore. So I think we have to really, pay attention to our, and then know that there's like a level at which you have to. It's no longer about asking social media, asking your chatbots, what should I do, or whatever.
I mean, people consult their doctors.
Yes, exactly. So just talk to, like, have you real. This is bringing it back to real human interactions. Because the person that recommended the glasses was my dad. You get, he was like, that she just can, it was his eye doctor that we used that time. So if I just continued like texting vendors, give me blue cut glasses, be like, hey, don't, my own is better than the other person's one. It's not the same thing. That's how they keep. I'll keep taking new ones, and then it wouldn't really help me. So it came down to that human interaction you get to want to, solve my problem like that.
I like the fact that you mentioned this thing right now. How can we be sensitized? For smokers, you see bodily rated on their stuff. Smokers are liable to die young, At least whether you like it or not, but you can see it. There's that sense in your head that, okay, this may not be good. But you can't see that on social media. There's no place you go online and you see it could be addictive. Manage your timing. It could be this, it could be that. And because of that, many people just pour themselves online and then they just keep falling. How can people be sensitized? How can this be managed? Because it's gradually eating people up. People may even be depressed, but they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know, and they don't even know how to go about it. At least yours is better. You knew your eyes were falling apart, and you could go to somewhere. Some people are going through stuff, but they don't even know what really. And social media could be part of it, because the perfect life you see out there could get you. So how can one be sensitized to manage challenges like this?
Okay, I think you have to find a way to get a life outside social media. Okay, it's very, very important to get a life outside social media. Pick up interests that are going to take you off your phone. It's very, very important, because now we are overstimulated with this new web of the internet. You enter TikTok, you're seeing this, you enter that. One of the things I just used to curtail my own is that I can't even manage it, but then normally the amount of social media platforms that I'm on now is very, very few. WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.
That's a lot.
Once. No, all this.
Are you throwing away Facebook?
I no longer use my Facebook. I don't have a TikTok account. You get that kind of thing. I can reduce the amount of social medias I have to keep up with.
Exactly.
Then I have like external interests. Like, for example, I try to at least play football every week. Now, within those hours that I'm, offline, I get to interact with people, because we have this whole community where I stay, where like, if you don't even come to play ball that day, they can do, how far? Come play ball, what happened? You get, so you have to build a community outside, social media. Get things that you're going to do, football, sports, whatever it is, meeting up with friends, even if it's game that people are still playing, which will still glue your eyes to the screen, but at least you're not on social media, whiling away your time. You can even, if people can talk about how stressful social activities are, like you go out and I wouldn't say you should go and party with the loudest music or anything, but at least sometimes you go to a lounge, you just sit out, you don't really, take time off. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's very important to have the best way to like fight against it is like that life outside social media and social interactions. You get, try to have people who actually also have that same mindset and goal of trying to get off social media, because like you said, me now, I had a cue that told me, my eyes were already telling me, something you need to go and, but then there are some people now that some things can be going on with, and they don't even know how to.
They're like, put urine in their eye, because that's what they see on social media.
Yeah, they're like, see, like,
they put urine in your eye and to clear.
That's
so talking about looking for solutions, is it ethical for mental health influencers or therapists to dish out solutions online? Sometimes you come online, you see doctor this, nurse this, telling you, oh, if you feel this type of way, take this, take this. If you want to do this, take this. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's the proper thing to do, or should there be like some sort of regulation? Because just like they say, symptoms could be alike, but it's like a different thing entirely, not what you think it is.
Yes. The thing is, it's nearly impossible to totally regulate social media at this point. You cannot come and start saying, okay, if you want to open a social media account, provide your government name, provide your this, so that if you spread misinformation, or you have to provide where you got this certificate and all of that, at the end of the day, we have to understand that all these situations are very, very subjective. You cannot take one person's situation as your own. For example, there are all these lifestyle coaches online. They're telling you things, motivate you. They say, when you're going through this, handle it this way. When even all these relationship coaches, how to be a woman, how to be an alpha male, this, that.
Relationship advisors are not married.
Yeah, like, do you get, like, you're seeing people that they're advising about how to handle women, and they can't even keep women themselves. You get, and then okay, at the end of the day, one day you now hear one controversy, that this person did this type of thing. It's not you that was advising me that, that type of thing. So I think there's no external regulation that can help, you get, but you have to pick and choose the information that you're getting from different people.
Like pick your poison.
Yes, pick your poison. Just, you're like, okay, this person is making sense in this area, you get, about this thing. Because, okay, now see the way I explained this, so money can buy happiness. Money can buy happiness, 100%.
You and I know that.
It can buy it. It will buy it and buy it again. but the thing is that if another person now can explain it, and they're not even explaining it for the point of happiness, they're telling you, if you can afford this, my brother, if I can afford, I will afford it again, and I'll be happy over and over again. But the thing is just, the quote centers more on happiness, like your own fulfillment, you get. That it gets to a point where, okay, there was this documentation I watched. The person was like, okay, there are still basic things like having a hot shower, like when you're back from your day and then everything is good and have a hot shower. 100 days ago, people were unable to have hot showers. The first person that had the hot shower might have been the happiest person in the world, as at that point to be like, something like this exists, you have. But then for us now, is base level something, you get. Or even people that at that time, they're like, they receive letters from their partners or loved ones outside the country or something, and they are like really elated. They're like, this is life, they're like, I can. But then now for us, I can actually pick up my phone right now and text someone abroad, and then the person replies me immediately. So I think that's just the same thing that comes down to all of this. So you just have to, I think we just have to, like, call ourselves to action.
Still looking at solutions, right? Do you blame our parents? This is the angle I'm coming from. 21st century parents now are very busy. They don't even have time. Some parents even have nannies at home.
Yeah.
They don't really have the time to have personal relationships with their kids,
Yes.
And not like we're going to blame them. It's not easy to be a parent.
It's also their first time being parents.
But then again, it's affecting the kids that have grown to be adults now. There are some kids that they don't have anyone as friends. Only what they have is their phones, and at the end of the day, they get so addicted to their phones that they've grown up to be attached to things like that. They don't even know how to keep relationships because they didn't have one when they were growing up. So our parents to blame in this whole social media addictiveness and the well-being and what have you?
I think they do play a part. Like you said, it's not fair to carry on the blame and put on their head. It's still their own first time parenting, just like it's our first time children.
Being adults.
So I think, but it's down to they still have a role to play. Let's say, for example, using myself as an example, I wasn't even allowed to use social media, or specifically apart from maybe WhatsApp, because WhatsApp was more of texting. That was like when WhatsApp still came out. So that time I remember I wasn't even allowed to use Facebook or whatever. What was the reason? Focus more on your school and interactions with us. You get just When they come back, we try to catch up. Hey, how you people doing? How you guys doing? How did it go? This, that, you know, those interactions. And then we try to, like, my family, we try to, like, growing up, we try to travel as much as possible back then. You get, so that was mostly when, because I personally don't like traveling, I don't like being on the road. So, but then back then, at least they helped me experience it, because if I hadn't experienced it that time, now it would have been difficult for me because I don't like it. But then at least now I have memories of, instead of spending my holidays pressing my phone, doing this, you know, and we are going somewhere, we are going to see a new place. It can just be, like, for example, there was this time we went to Yenogua. I've never, that time they will tell you about Assisi capital, like these places actually
Really
exist, you get. And then I went there and I was like, you know, what did we do there? We not do anything too crazy. Just went to the riverside where, you know, where we see boats docked around, and, you know, you get to interact with people of different, you know, backgrounds, you know, eat food that you've not, you know, all the type of things now can help you see that there's life beyond, you know, being on your phone. So I think parents can play their own roles by, like, you know, helping their children, because as a child you don't even know what you're doing. Okay, that stimulation now, we are here now analyzing overstimulation and the effects and everything. They don't know all these things. Their own is just I think this is making me happy, let's continue doing it, you get. So I think as a parent you just have to call that child to action, like, okay, get off your phone at this point, go to bed. Okay, when you come back, all of that. So,
thank you so much. I think that's the most we can, really, it's fine, another day. That's the most we can take on this conversation. Our guest is Mbachu Felix, who is a web designer, and he joined us in the studio today to talk about the impact of social media on mental health and well-being. Thank you once again for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, to be honest.
Thank you,
we'll
Felix,
have
for joining
conversations
us.
like this in the future.
All right.
Save Nature TV, news in your pocket.